Hello, Happy New Year. Anyway, I have a few more poems to share at this point. After the last one that I shared, I'd sort of determined that one was probably a little heavy. Yeah, so some of these poems I'm going to share with you today are a little bit more lighthearted. This first one's called Rules for Determining a Major Poet, and this was inspired by reading this old Atlantic article about Robert Lowell and James Dickey. I think it was back in 1967. But the author of that piece was, among other things, trying to determine, hey, who's going to be the next major American poet? And I don't know, while I was reading through it, I couldn't help but think, oh wow, this is amazing that someone is putting this kind of time and effort into determining who is the next major American poet, which, at least by today's standards, it seems like it's a quaint enterprise. But anyway, here are my rules for determining a major poet. And so listen carefully, because this will tell you a lot about how I truly feel about topics such as this one. Rules for determining a major poet. 1. The sun must be mentioned. 2. Fruit Loops and Cocoa Puffs are permissible, but Captain Crunch isn't allowed. 3. A stone must be a mountain, a river, an ocean. 4. Walking barefoot is required. 5. 2 cats. 2. Not 3. 6. A Nissan Datsun, not a Volvo. 7. Javelin, not discus. 8. 2 marathons and a leisurely stroll around the block. 9. Apertures are necessary. 10. Your last name must end in Smith. 11. Names aren't important. 12. Fill in graves before you dig holes for trees. 13. Sitting in place is preferred. 14. Tug of war. 15. An open raft. 16. A dog named Fido. 17. A good pair of chucks. 18. A desert must be a grain of sand or an ice pellet. 19. Nothing but Captain Crunch is acceptable. 20. The sun must not be mentioned. All right, now that you probably know what my thoughts are about determining who's a major poet or not, let's go on to the next poem. This one's entitled Life Choices. And I imagine a number of people have heard that old adage, when life throws you lemons, you make lemonade. So that was the inspiration for this piece. And let's just say I decided to take it in a completely different direction. This is called Life Choices. Life threw me lemons. Everyone told me to make lemonade. I tossed the lemons aside, bought a bag of oranges. I'm enjoying my orange juice now, while everyone else sips lemonade. Some loving it, some not. All right, and I wasn't planning to share this one, but I figured why not? I found this one notebook that I'm using for my poetry right now. It was in the free pile at SUNY Broom. And, so I just picked it up saying, hey, I could always use a free notebook to write poems in. So I'm going through it, I'm working on some poems, and all of a sudden I noticed that this picture. And for anyone who was born in the 80s, they know exactly who this figure is. So, noting this picture, I was like, okay, wouldn't it be fun to make an ode to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters? So, that's indeed what I did. Now, usually, if we're dealing with Panderic odes, they have like 3 parts: the strophe, the antistrophe, and my mind apparently is just blanking on the last part, but basically it's bringing the strophe and antistrophe together to make like a third way of viewing your subject matter. Sort of very Hegelian, if I could say it that way. So, But yeah, usually odes, at least if they're Pindaric, they have 3 parts. But I wrote, and usually odes are 10 lines, and in English it usually rhymes A, B, A, B, C, D, E, C, D, E. All right, but after writing one stanza, I determined, hey, I'm perfectly fine with the poem as is. It does not need the other 2 parts. So this is called an ode to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You plod down a mob thoroughfare, havoc, your main objective. Your massive body smashes cars and buildings. Not empathic, you even destroy a church. Embody terror in your marshmallow glory. How could you have foreseen your demise? An explosion sending your gooey flesh all over New York City. Your story lives on, though. To this day, you still surprise with your ability to remain fresh. All right. And within the next week or so, I'll post a review of Arthur C.'s The Glass Constellation. Until then, I hope everyone is well. Take care.